You are 47. You are sitting in a leather armchair on the private aviation side of a coastal international airport. The whiskey in your hand is worth more than the first car you ever owned. There is a woman across the room reading the paper. Neither of you speak. You look out the window at a jet with a tail number you recognize because it is yours. A voice on the intercom says your name. Not your last name, your first. You take a sip. You do not stand up yet, because 22 years ago, on this exact date, you were 25 years old and sitting on the floor of the main terminal in the same city with $114 in your bank account, watching a family of 4 eat pretzels from a paper bag while you tried not to look hungry. Your flight had been delayed 6 hours. You had no lounge access. You had no credit card. You had a duffel bag with everything you owned. The two of you are the same man. Nobody in this lounge knows that. Your phone in your pocket is buzzing right now with a text from a man named Marcus that you have not opened yet. You will. Not now. This is how airports treat you at every level of wealth. And every version of you, from the man on the floor to the man in the armchair, is going to walk past a stranger who will change the shape of his life without knowing it. You are 25, gate B14, fluorescent lights, a carpet the color of an office cubicle. You're sitting on the floor because every seat is taken and the ones that aren't taken have a stranger's backpack on them. Your flight is delayed, then delayed again, then delayed a third time. You buy a bag of pretzels from a vending machine because it is cheaper than the food court. $2.75. You count it out in quarters. A man in a wrinkled suit next to you watches you count. He doesn't say anything. Later, he leaves and comes back with 2 coffees. He hands you one. He says, "You look like you're headed somewhere important." You say you're going to a job interview. Marketing coordinator. Entry level. You couldn't afford a hotel the night before, so you took the red-eye. The man nods slowly. He says, "I flew that same red-eye when I was your age. Interview at a firm that would eventually make me partner." He takes a sip. "Kid, the only reason I'm sitting on this floor with you right now instead of the lounge is because I still remember what the floor felt like. The people who forget don't stay rich. They just look rich for a while." He goes back to his paper. He does not tell you his name. His flight boards 20 minutes later, and he is gone. You get on your flight. You get the job. You start Monday. Wednesday of that first week, you open Instagram in bed. Marcus, your college roommate, same major, same GPA, worked at the same coffee shop with you junior year, is in Cabo. There's a photo of him and 6 other guys you don't know on a rented yacht. The caption is one word. Earned. You put your phone face down on the pillow. Marcus took a job in finance, signing bonus. He tried to get you into his firm. You didn't get the interview. He apologized once, sincerely. He hasn't brought it up since. You do not know it yet, but the man on the floor gave you something that morning. And Marcus, on that yacht, gave you something else. Both of them will still be paying interest on their gifts 22 years from now. You are 29, back in the same airport. You have flown 11 times in the last 3 years. You have never once seen the inside of a lounge. But something is different this time. You have a small blue rectangle in your wallet, a co-branded airline credit card with a $95 annual fee. Your girlfriend Julia thinks it was a waste. She said at the kitchen table, holding the statement, "$95 for what exactly?" You couldn't answer her. It was the first time money had made a silence between you that wasn't there before. She was not angry. She was disappointed in a way you couldn't argue with. You paid the fee anyway. You did not tell her you paid the fee. Today, at gate D22, an agent scans your boarding pass and something happens. A small green light. A soft beep. She smiles at you and says, "You've been upgraded, sir. Seat 3B. You walk down the jet bridge and turn left instead of right for the first time in your life. In seat 3A, a woman is already seated, reading glasses on a chain around her neck. She smiles politely and goes back to her book. 2 hours in, she asks what you do. You tell her. She says she runs a private equity firm that invests in small consumer brands. She asks what you do if you had capital. You tell her honestly that you have an idea for a subscription business, but every version of the plan needs $40,000 you don't have. She listens. She does not offer you money. She writes a name on a napkin, an accelerator program in the same city. She says they accept 8% of applicants. If you apply, tell them Miriam sent you. She does not give a last name. You land. You text Julia. You tell her about the seat, about the woman, about the napkin. She writes back 6 minutes later. "That's amazing. Come home safe." You do not tell her about the $95. You get on Instagram in the airport rideshare line. Marcus has posted from the lounge. Same airport, same day, different terminal. He is holding a glass of champagne. The caption is a single line. "Some of us fly right." You do not know it yet, but you are going to lose 2 things over the next 6 months. One that will hurt and one that will save you. Julia's silence at the kitchen table was the first sound of one of them. You are 32, small regional connector, gate E7. You are flying to meet a supplier for the 2nd time this year. You have a business now. Miriam's napkin sent you to that accelerator, and 18 months later, the subscription idea is real. $90,000 sits in a business account that has your name on it but is not yours. You have not paid yourself a salary in 8 months. Julia married you last spring in a courthouse ceremony. She has never once complained. At the boarding gate, a family of 4 is being denied. Their flight is oversold. The gate agent is offering $600 for anyone who volunteers to give up their seat. Nobody moves. You raise your hand. You lose a day with the supplier. You gain enough to cover next month's rent on the small warehouse space Julia doesn't fully know exists yet. You call Julia. She is quiet for a moment. Then she laughs. She says, You would take the $600 while the family behind you sits there. That's who you are right now. I hope you remember this when you don't have to. At the airport hotel bar that night, an older man is nursing a drink alone. Dad jeans, a worn leather jacket. He sees your laptop and asks what you do. You tell him about the samples, about the supplier meeting you had to reschedule for a voucher. He looks at you for a long time. He says, "Kid, the day you stop grabbing $600 vouchers is the day you know the business is real. But the day you forget you would have grabbed it, that's the day you should sell it." He pays for your drink and gets up. He does not tell you his name. That same night, back home, Julia goes to bed early. She has stopped asking you when you'll be back for good. You told her 3 months, 6 months ago, then 6 months, 3 months ago. Now she has stopped asking. This is the loss she isn't going to name for another year. The next morning, on the flight home, you scroll Instagram at the gate. Marcus is in Miami, rooftop pool. Same 6 guys from the yacht photo, older now, all in linen. He tagged the hotel. It is $890 a night. You do not know it yet, but Marcus is putting that entire trip on a credit card with a variable APR he stopped reading 2 months ago. You are 36. You are in the lounge for the first time in your life. You paid for it. A $469 annual membership. Julia bought it for you as a birthday gift because she saw something in your face after the last flight that she has never seen before. She said, "You don't have to keep doing it the hard way just to prove something to yourself. You are drinking free coffee from a real ceramic mug. There is a shower down the hall you have not used yet because you are still processing the fact that lounges have showers. You feel like a fraud." An older woman sits down 2 seats over. Hot water with lemon, small suitcase. She notices you looking around like a tourist. She says gently, "First time?" You nod. She says, "You know the secret of these places? Everyone in here is pretending. The ones who look like they belong are usually the ones with the biggest debt. The ones who feel like frauds are usually the ones building something real." She finishes her lemon water. She stands up. Before she wheels her suitcase toward the exit, she pauses. She looks at you one more time. She says, "Call your father this weekend. That feeling you have right now, that you don't deserve to be here. You got it from someone. Go find out who." She is gone. You sit there for a full 90 seconds without moving. You have not called your father in 8 months. He worked construction for 31 years. He does not know you have a business. He thinks you still work at the marketing firm. Julia has been asking you when you're going to tell him. You have been finding reasons not to. That evening from the hotel you call him. He answers on the second ring like he was waiting. He tells you about the weather. He tells you about a leak in the garage. He asks how Julia is. He does not ask how work is because he does not know there's anything to ask about. You do not tell him about the business. Not yet. But you tell him you love him, which you have not said in maybe 4 years. And there is a small pause on the other end that you will remember the shape of for the rest of your life. You do not know it yet, but the lemon water woman just gave you the most expensive sentence anyone will ever say to you for free. Marcus, that same week, defaults on his second credit card. His parents cover it. You will find out 3 years later at a wedding from his mother, who will be drunk enough to tell you but sober enough to ask you not to tell him she told you. You are 41, business class, seat 4A, a pod, champagne offered before takeoff, a hot towel that smells like something expensive you can't name. Your seatmate in 4B is a man in his 60s, bespoke suit, watch that costs more than the first house you and Julia rented. He nods at you politely and opens a folder full of legal documents. Before he closes the folder, a woman in 4C leans across the aisle. She is younger than you. Blazer, manicured hand on a glass of sparkling water. She looks at your carry-on, which is a scuffed nylon duffel Julia gave you when you got your first business account. She says, not unkindly, but not kindly either. "First time up front?" You say no. "You've been up here before." She smiles. She says, "Right, it's just, you can usually tell. Something about the bag." She turns back to her drink. You feel your jaw tighten. You feel 25 again for a full 10 seconds. You feel the vending machine and the quarters. You feel the man on the floor, and it hits you, sharp and clear, that if the woman in 4C had been on that floor next to you at 25, she would have moved. 20 minutes into the flight, the man in 4B closes his folder. He looks at you. He says, "May I ask what you do?" You tell him. 2 businesses now. The first is running itself. The second is scaling. He asks 3 questions that are so precise that you feel your entire quarter's financial picture click into focus in a way it never has before. Then he says, "You know what nobody tells you about this seat? This seat isn't the point. What this seat buys you is the point. It buys you 6 hours next to someone like me who has already made every mistake you're about to make. That's it. That's the whole product. The champagne is a distraction." He hands you his card. His name is real this time, written on paper, embossed. He says, "Call me when you're ready to raise. Not before. You'll know when." Halfway through the flight, the woman in 4C flags down the attendant. She wants to know when the food service is starting. She is impatient. The attendant apologizes for the delay. The man in 4B, without looking up from his book, says quietly, "The ones who complain about the food are the ones who paid for the seat. The ones who barely notice it are the ones who paid for the person next to them." He does not say it to you. He says it to the air. But he glances at you once when he says it. You land. You put his card in your wallet. You walk past the woman in 4C at baggage claim. She does not see you. You do not know it yet, but you are going to think about that man in 4B and about the woman in 4C at least once a month for the rest of your life. You are 47. The whiskey is in your hand. The intercom has called your first name. You stand up. You walk toward the private jet on the tarmac. On the way out, you pass a young man sitting on a bench near the door. 25, maybe. Backpack at his feet. Looking at the departure board with the specific expression of someone whose flight has just been delayed for the third time. You stop. You do not know him. He does not know you, but you have seen this face before, in a mirror. You walk over. You sit down next to him. You do not say anything for a moment. Then you say, "You look like you're headed somewhere important." He says he's going to a job interview. He couldn't afford a hotel. He took the red eye. You nod. You get up. You come back with 2 coffees. You hand him one. You say, "Kid, the only reason I'm sitting on this bench with you right now instead of that leather chair over there is because I still remember what the floor felt like." He looks at you. You say, "The people who forget don't stay rich. They just look rich for a while." You walk away. You do not tell him your name. You do not offer him a card. Your jet is waiting. Your phone buzzes again on the walk to the jet bridge. Marcus, the 3rd text today. You open it this time. "Bro, are you around tonight? I need to talk." It's bad. You read it twice. You type back 1 word. "Come." That night, at your kitchen table, Marcus sits across from you. He is 47. He looks 57. He has lost 11 pounds since the wedding you saw him at last year. He tells you the number. $280,000 in cards, personal loans, and a haylock his second wife doesn't know about. His job of 19 years ended 6 weeks ago. His daughter starts college in the fall. You do not gloat. You do not remind him about the yacht photo or the Miami rooftop or Some of Us Fly Right. You make him coffee. You listen for a full hour without interrupting. Then you say one thing. You say, "Marcus, I can help you with the college. Not with the rest. The rest you already know how to fix. You've known for 20 years. You just haven't done it. And me handing you a check isn't going to be the thing that finally makes you do it. It's going to be the thing that lets you not." He looks at you for a long time. He does not argue, because somewhere under the panic, he already knew. He nods once. He says, "Okay." You do not know if he means it. Neither does he. That's the honest part. The whiskey is gone. The jet is airborne. The city is small below you now. You think about the man in the wrinkled suit at gate B14, Miriam in the napkin, the founder in the dad jeans at the hotel bar, the lemon water woman who told you to call your father, the man in seat 4B who told you the champagne was a distraction, the woman in 4C who reminded you what the floor felt like. 5 strangers across 22 years. None of them gave you money. None of them saved you. They each gave you 1 sentence at a moment you needed it, and then they walked away without a name. That is the thing airports actually do at every level of wealth. The seats change. The food changes. The lounge changes. The plane changes. But the real currency of every single terminal, in every city, at every hour of the day, is the stranger next to you who will say one true thing if you look up from your phone long enough to hear it. Most people never look up. Marcus never looked up. And Marcus was in the lounge before you were. Maybe you're the man on the floor with the pretzels. Maybe you're the woman with the lemon water. Maybe you're Marcus, 3 texts deep, hoping the friend on the other end has an answer that lets you off the hook. The seat you're in right now is not the point. Who's sitting next to you is. Who you become by the time they get there is everything. Fly safe.